It's been about a week since Odette left Arya's glade, choosing to not give in to the voices asking her if she's lost, but instead making her way towards the tower. You would have walked a very different path than the one you've traveled already, as you are on the other side of that deep crack in the earth. But it's the fastest way back, and it's not hard to see your destination. Floating above the rest of the skyline is your home, what you once called your home. How is Odette approaching?
Odette approaches the tower apprehensively because she has no idea exactly what she's about to face. And her mind has still been reeling this whole time about what, if there is a solution, what it is, and how what matters most is saving the people from the tower. But with doing that might come with giving up what makes her her, which is that steadfast need to not inflict harm on someone. And so she does approach rather slowly towards the end, almost hoping that time slows down with her. But it doesn't, and eventually she gets to where she needs to be.
And you have your gift of flight from the Goddess of Winds. Are you choosing to just launch yourself in hope, or does Odette have a bit of a plan on how she wants to ascend the tower?
We're definitely not launching ourselves on hope. Not after this past conversation with Wind. She doesn't even know if she has control over what happens when this gift is activated. But she will... It's hard for her because her view of the tower has always been from within. She's never seen it from the outside, aside from that brief time that she had outside of the tower before leaving. So it's a very odd feeling of looking at the outside of a building that you've never seen before and you've only seen pictures of the inside. So it takes her a moment to get her bearings on where she's at. And I think that she would want to try to find Alexander. So she would probably try to get to her spot first to see if he's potentially there, and then she would go to his. And luckily her spot is towards the edge of town. So she's gonna aim for that.
Okay, yeah, and using just the geography around you, you would know that you have to, like, as you're sitting, cross the big gap in the ground because you knew you fell on the other side. And also, the winds of the world, not to joke with the goddess of wind, but the just desert wind,
Don't joke about
are
it.
harsh, but not that intense that the collapsed sector wouldn't be noticeable. The one that fell with you. So you can use that as a bit of a post, even though it's not where you lived, you had to travel there. You would also notice, though, that around the tower seemed to be more of those fallen sections. When you left, there were always the threat of the cable snapping, but it seems like in the time that you've been away, which, reflecting on it, it's been a couple months almost, that it seems the tower is continuing to decay in your absence. But yeah, you can estimate as best you can your home and try to get there.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. She'll definitely do a couple of not laps around it because she can't do that. But yeah, a couple half circles and just to make extra sure that she has her bearings before she tries to fly.
Yeah. Cool. And what do you think it feels like as you activate the power of wind, granting yourself flight?
It feels almost like that moment when you drop in something like a drop zone or a roller coaster, of just that momentary weightlessness that has your heart catch in your throat. That even though she was expecting some sort of flight, it's still so inhuman to experience. And that unnatural thrill of it almost puts a smile on her face. And I think for anyone who sees it, the wind around her moves just enough to almost look like there are wings on her back. Just a distortion in the air. And she goes for it.
Yeah. And as you go for it, those wings seem to cooperate. They seem to command as you need. You have made a fair trade with the goddess of wind, and as tumultuous as her personality may be, you gave her an item of power, and she promised you she would aid you. You still probably have doubt in the back of your head as to how long this will last, how many times you can activate it, but as your feet come off the ground and you are hovering for the first time, you feel it listening to you, and you can command the wind to carry you where you would like to go.
She stays there momentarily breathless, almost afraid she's gonna be stuck where she's at, like she was. And then she flies, and she flies towards her home. She's being as stealthy as she can about it, but you know, it's kind of hard.
We'll say it is probably like late afternoon with the sun would just starting to be set, so there are elongated shadows that will aid in that.
Excellent.
However, you are a singular flying being against a backdrop of waste, ascending. So, as stealthy as you're choosing to
Gonna
be,
hug the
there
wall.
will be people that saw you. You hug the wall.
I hug the wall.
And yeah, you're able to make it. Probably takes you a couple of like passes to find your exact home, but you're able to land there. Looks much the same. Doesn't seem like the alleyway that your house is part of or your hut is part of fell apart. Doesn't seem to be impacted. And it's that time where people are all coming and going from work, except people aren't really coming and going. It seems like in the time, a bit of the life has left the people here, and there's no direct indicator as to why.
Oh, that's very strange. I'm just going to very quickly go into my little room, that little closet that she lives in, and just grab one of the incomplete poems on the wall that she had kept, and just puts it in her pocket for comfort, for something of home, because she's home and it already doesn't feel like it before She takes one last look at her room and her meager belongings. And she runs out to look for Alexander and runs out with the speed and ability that she has always used at the tower, which is go quick, take shortcuts, and get there as soon as possible.
Okay. And do you think that she is either fully unconscious of the knowledge that she's running potentially through a divine body, or is she aware of it and trying to tune into it, or aware of it and trying to keep it from her mind?
Aware of it and trying to keep it from her mind right now, because letting it in her mind could be very dangerous. So she's trying not to think about it. And I wonder if right now she might be acting impulsively with the speed at which she's going to try to find Alexander. And she's in a kind of crumbling tower.
So would you like to take what advantage do you seize, or would you like to take what trouble hits you hard and fast?
I don't know what trouble.
Like there's a natural one here, but...
Yeah, I don't know what trouble hits me hard and fast yet, so I'll do what advantage do I seize. I think an advantage I seize is there is an alleyway that helps a lot with this route to get to Alexander's. And it is still up. There's nothing blocking the path, and sometimes there is, and she has to try to get around it. And this time, it is a clear path for this particular spot, giving her the ability to get there just a little bit faster.
Mm-hmm. And we'll say then, as you are swiftly navigating the homeland that you know, moving through, you're probably not needing to pay the most attention to things because you have a goal in mind. And the complication we'll find, or the trouble that hits you hard and fast, is as you come out the other end with Alexander's hut in sight, you hear the familiar voice of somebody who wears long black robes and tries to not be seen, saying, "Hey, where you come from? You've been missing. You owe us a debt."
Just keep running.
You're gonna just keep running?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I think that is going to require a move.
Okay.
I think that is going to require tempt fate.
Shucks. Okay.
Yeah. If you want to try and say it's one of the others, feel free. I just don't think that you're trying to use any powers. I don't think you're trying to be violent, and there's no audience for you to challenge.
I'm not recognizing a god.
No, you're not recognizing it.
All right, let's do this. Let's see.
This is a criminal that you have stolen from. This is not God.
I fell. Okay, I fell from the tower. I didn't steal. I got a 7.
Okay. No one is lending you a hand. You do have other options. And yeah, I'm not going to give you that third one yet.
Great.
So yeah, on a 7, you get through it mostly unscathed. The fates spare you for now. So what do you do to get here? The easy option, if you want to take it, not saying easy as in like unsatisfying, but the easiest option is you're not far from Alexander's home. You could easily just get to him. I don't know if Odette would want to lead these people to her friend.
No. I think she'd try to lose him and then get back to the hut if possible.
Okay. Then yeah, knowing the ins and outs of the place the way that only you and a few other like urchin children do, it's not hard even for someone who is versed in moving the tower in ways that they're not meant to lose sight of a small girl dipping in and out of alleyways. And we will say for now, you have successfully avoided this confrontation. However, Odette is aware that this is a network of people.
Yes.
And it's much easier to avoid one singular person than it is to avoid a network once they know you're back. So.
Yay. Excellent.
But you are safe.
Okay. Now I'll circle around and go,
Mm-hmm.
go to the hut and see if he's there.
Yeah. When you get there, his door is that like flimsy door that sits on a frame, but you can always kind of see past it a little bit. And it doesn't look like he's home, but it doesn't look like it's like in a state. It seems like he's just not home yet, or he's out, if you want to stay and wait for him to come back.
I think I'll stay.
Okay. How much time has Odette spent inside of Alexander Anvil's home?
I think she spent a lot of time here. Alexander is her only true friend, and they've grown up together, and they've both have had hard lives, so they share with each other what they get. So I do think she spent a lot of time there, and he spent a lot of time at her place as well.
Yeah. Then I think you would notice the tiny signs of someone who's not doing well. Like piles that had always been clean being adjusted off. Things that typically would be put away being left out instead of being put away every time. A bed, as much as any bed in the tower can be called a bed, unmade and unkempt. Not in a they can't maintain it themselves, just seems as though they've allowed themselves to let go a bit in the time since you've left.
Oh, I hope I didn't cause that. She just takes a seat. She waits.
It's like probably about 10 minutes later, he returns home. Like through the flimsy door, unless you left it wide open.
No.
So through the flimsy door is able to see that somebody is in his home. An unsettling sight for anyone.
Yeah.
And very gently calls out, "Hello," as he pushes the door.
She freezes for a moment. Because the implications of the fact she may have come back from the dead to him, it's like, oh, wait, I had to think this through. And she just goes, "Alexander?"
Odette?
And she's just gonna jump up and run over to him.
As you do, like, yeah, it's the same moment he's pushing the door open. So there's that uncomfortable shuffle of trying to both get to each other, but a force being put between them. You've went missing. We all assumed you died.
Yeah, that's a long story. A very long story.
Yeah, months in the making story. What are you wearing?
Oh, we have a lot to talk about.
Okay.
Are you all right?
No one's really doing great right now. The tower, you know how we were repairing the I don't even remember, the wires to make sure that they're not snapping? Well, it seems like they're snapping a lot more these days, and so people are either being forced to stay home for safety, or those of us that do steel work are working triple shifts to get more wires built in time. And then the person I trusted most in the world abandoned me, and I assumed she was dead. And so, no, I guess, if we're being honest about it, no is the answer. I'm not. But hey, you're not dead, and that's new information. So we're not going to focus on me right now.
Can I give you a hug, or are you mad?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Holds you in aggressively.
She's just going to hold on to him, and that one sense of familiarity for a moment before letting go. And then she's just gonna go and sit down, ready to talk.
Yeah, so I guess did you leave? Were you hiding?
I fell. I fell from
Okay.
the tower.
And you're not dead?
I'm not dead.
Can you prove you're not dead?
I thought the hug would kind of help with that a little, but
I mean, it does, but it's also like, I don't know. Maybe ghosts change clothes.
Here, she's gonna get out of her satchel the map, one of the maps she has of home.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna set that down on like a little table. And she's gonna go, I don't know how I'm not dead yet. I don't know. But there are other people.
There's not. You know that. We all know there's no one else.
I thought so. There are other people. There are nomads. There is a city. And it's thriving. And they think that the tower is a utopia, which we all know it's not.
Huh.
That's why they've never come here, because they weren't allowed in the tower when it was built.
And they just don't... We don't see them? They're just hanging out, invisible?
No, they're far away. They're not... I've been traveling.
Uh-huh.
Can you not... She, like, gestures to the clothes that she wears that no one's ever seen around here. She's like, this... Do you think I could have made this myself? The answer's no.
Yeah,
Where would
the
I have
answer's
gotten the
no.
materials?
But also, that's a wild story, Odette. Like, you always said you're gonna go off and find what's next. And then you go missing, and we're supposed to think that... And hey, I've never doubted you, for the record. We're supposed to believe that everything you thought was true. And not just maybe you needed to hide for a bit, and now you're saying your dreams came true. Again, I've never doubted you. I'm just saying how it looks.
It would make sense. Or it wouldn't make sense if my dreams did come true. But this isn't all good. The nomads of the city are also struggling. They're looking for another cradle underground. That is what they believe, is that there is another cradle underground. So they have nomads looking for it. And home is under constant surveillance by Record, who is a divinity. And Home, it's the name of the city. She holds up the map
okay.
where it's like, where the person had drawn, like, you are here. And,
Yeah, okay.
and hands it over. It's... I don't want to tell you everything because I think that it would be very dangerous for you to know. But I do want you to know that this isn't all there is. And that if we need, and we do, we need the people to leave the tower because it's going to fall. There is hope.
Is that like it's going to fall, I'm aware, or like one day it will fall?
The progress that I've seen in my time leaving and coming back is showing that it is actively falling. You and your crew are just slowing it down as much as you can. But it's crumbling. And if it falls, I don't see how anyone will survive.
Yeah, how did you survive?
I don't know. My fall slowed down at the end. That's all. I don't know.
Okay. Well, this is insane. And again, I don't not believe you. It's just a lot of information all at once.
I know.
So then you're back to warn everyone? You're back to move everyone off? What if you made it out? I mean, I'm glad you're back and that I now know what happened to you. But if you made it out, why'd you come back?
Because you and everyone here is worth saving, and I think the tower's going to fall soon. I think it's going to fall, not even just within our lifetimes. I think it's going to fall soon.
Yay. Sleepless nights meaning nothing. Okay. And you have an exit plan, presumably?
No.
That's a no.
No.
That was a pretty long sigh.
I don't.
Okay.
I need a way to get to the center of the tower.
How did you get up the tower?
I don't think you'd believe me if I told you.
Probably not. No. Unless you said you got a really good grappling hook at home. I
tried. They didn't have it.
Why don't they have grappling hooks?
I don't know. I guess they don't like climbing.
Was it like, did they need them?
I
Are
guess
they built
not.
like we are?
No, they're very scholarly people.
Oh, what's that like?
I don't entirely know. They had a lot of knowledge, and they liked to make you think that you had access to it until you asked the wrong questions. And then you got a talking to from a deity in your head who could just kill you in your sleep, which was super nice.
Hey, that's wrong, right? That's a bad thing?
It's a bad thing.
Okay, cool.
That's why I'm saying it's not all perfect down below. There's just hope that there are other people down below who might be able to help us. And if not, at least we know that down below is livable because people do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, if we're all gonna die in our lifetimes anyway, the likelihood that you're gonna get me killed faster is probably a lot higher, but hey.
Okay, I don't want that.
I'm not saying you're going to. I'm just saying if we're on a time limit, I'll help you out, I guess.
Okay. I don't even know what I need your help with. I just wanted to see you before whatever's about to happen. But I need to get to the restricted part of the tower. Desperately.
And how are you going to do that?
I think I'm gonna fly. I think I'm gonna fly to the restricted section.
You're gonna grow wings and fly?
That's how I got up here. That's how I got back. Did you know that wind is a god and that they exist still?
No?
Okay. Well, now you know.
Okay.
So that's how I was able to do this.
Why have you met so many gods?
I don't know. They're just kind of around down there. It's just kind of a thing.
So, like, the preacher people up top that say they're still here aren't lying, or they are lying? Because they're not here.
They're not lying. They are still around. What I am going to do next is going to be very dangerous, and I do not want you involved.
You realize it doesn't make me feel great about what you're going to do. Okay, cool.
But
I'm glad you realize it.
If there is in any way and in any case a way to evacuate this tower, I need you to find it and get people out.
Okay. Okay. Maybe if I go to work tomorrow, I can steal a blueprint or something. Because it's a solid slab of stone at the base. It's not like we can just bore through stone and get off. We can't all just jump and hope time slows down as we hit the ground.
I know. But maybe there's something we've missed. Maybe there's something they've hidden from us, like a staircase in one of the closets or something, or maybe a pulley system.
Yeah, you're right, Odette. The magic staircase in the closet. How could I have forgotten? No, but pulley system's not the craziest thing. We have a lot of rope around here. We have a lot of steel wire. We could probably make something to get close enough that if people had to scale halfway down and then jump, they might be okay. We might find the magic staircase closet. Again, I don't doubt you on the things you say. You just you are aware this is a lot, right?
Yes, I am aware, because I've experienced all of them.
I just needed to hear you say you're aware. Okay.
I'm very aware.
Okay.
You can see the signs, though, of the tower falling. If the tower falls, no one makes it out, so we might as well try.
And just how are you going to mobilize the masses?
That, I think I'm going to leave up to you, actually. I have to do other things.
Hey, that's not fair in any capacity. But if you're going to fly out of here, I don't really have a way to counter that. So, hey.
I will do it if I am able to. There are more pressing matters that I have to attend to. And I don't know how that's going to go.
Okay. Well, best of luck, I guess.
Thank you.
Is there a spot, like, if... I don't, to be fully honest, I don't think this is going to work. Especially not, like, in a today or tomorrow situation.
I know.
But, like, if we are all thrown to the ground, is there somewhere we should convene?
Yes, there is. It all depends on what side of the crevice everyone lands on, but if it's the same side that I fell down, there is a dilapidated village. There's nothing there. You cannot stay there because food can't grow there, but it's a good meeting place.
Okay.
And then from there, and then I'll give directions to where home is, and I'll also give directions to the garden.
Okay. So if they fall on the other side,
yes,
they're not
they can. Yeah,
being left alone.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'll basically give both routes of the journey I've taken. I'll write it down on the back of home of that map, and then I will take out the Wayfarer's Journal and the poem that I found at the beach, and I will also set those on the table and say, I really don't know what's going to happen, but I don't want these get lost if I am. So I'm going to leave them here.
Okay.
And maybe they'll have a shot at being read by more people.
Okay. And if you're not dead tonight, maybe just stop by again.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or like if you do die, or if you don't die, like maybe, I don't know, like scream really loud or something. So maybe I can hear, I don't know. I don't know.
Like if I fall off the tower again?
Well, if you can fly, so you shouldn't fall, right?
Yeah, that's the thought. I don't know how long this will last. Wind is lovely. She is a little unpredictable, but that's what she is all about.
Okay. Well, if you're still on the tower tonight and you haven't died or jumped off and wind betrayed you, maybe come just say hi so I at least know one way or another what happened.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Then he's gonna like pull you in again.
Yeah.
In a very like, you can tell it feels final.
Yeah, that's for her as well. She's biting back tears and trying to stay like her normal upbeat, always slightly frantic self, but there is that the shoulders slumping and just the weight of her world on her shoulders. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
fly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck.
Thank you. She's gonna go. She still can't, even in sad moments, she still can't end a conversation properly.
I love that every conversation Odette ends with, I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, but you head on out. Like, neither of you are that far from the open air. Like, you can easily head on out and make your way up. The restricted area is in the middle of a tower, several floors above you. It's up in, like, the very, as ornate as a tower can be, ornate section of it, towards, like, not the top, but several floors up. Are you hoping, again, you'll be unseen to just go now, or what's Odette's plan as she navigates her way up?
At this point, about what time of day is it? Because I would probably wait for
I think
nighttime.
you all spent a fair amount of time together. I'd say it's probably like a late dusk, early evening.
Okay. I will wait until the sun fully sets, which might just be me camping out in an alley or frequently moving. And once it is night and there is at least the cover of night, then she will start this.
Okay. Can I have from you?
No.
It'll probably come down to another tempt fate roll here. To just spend the time, now that you know an organization that knows how to find people is looking for you.
Yeah.
To successfully stay unavoided for this next 90 minutes.
So I rolled a 9, but I don't know if anything gets added.
I don't think anything would, because it's the same situation as earlier. Like,
Okay.
Alexander has helped you, but is not lending you a hand in hiding. You really don't have any other options here. Actually, no. Yeah, that's the problem, is you don't have any other options.
So that would make it an overkill.
You would gain that point,
Which
and
means...
then still no god. So
oh
10
no.
plus.
This is a bad one.
Yeah. Yes, this is. So on a 10 plus on an overkill, you triumph in this specific ordeal, which is finding spots. But I think you are someone who is breaking curfew on a tower where no one is meant to be breaking curfew, up against an organization who does great at communication without being seen.
Excellent.
And so as you're moving, and I think it's probably you're being very careful
Yes.
to not go the same path twice, to not sit anywhere too long. You probably get to a section of the tower that's a little less known, that has more of a grid system, like an older part of the tower where it's not cutting alleys and up and down like zip lines. It's more laid out, and fall into a too familiar pattern of, okay, I'll go left, I'll go right, I'll go left, I'll go right. And after making a pattern that's recognizable, you turn the corner and someone is there ready to catch you. What would you do?
Turn around.
Cool. As you turn around, they just go to strike you. There's nothing that you can do to avoid it because they were waiting in ambush, and you're oops. So I will have you take 1 strain here.
Okay.
And
Yikes.
I will say that you are definitely aware that you have been being watched, and you are probably aware that if they capture you, you will not have the time to get to the restricted section this evening.
All right, I'm gonna fly.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try to fly out of here, fly over them, get out, and go up.
Yeah. That is very clearly wielding a power.
Yeah.
Let's see. Have you done this exact act before perfectly? No.
No.
You have not. Are you desperate for this to work?
If I am, then I'm very close to getting my fifth strain.
I'm aware, but I do believe Odette would believe she's desperate.
No.
Okay. So go ahead and mark 1 strain, and we'll add +1 to that. And you're close to a shrine, lair, or domain of the god you took this power from. The wind is everywhere. She met you on that tower, but she is everywhere. So I'd say you are still in her domain, so you can get a +2 to this roll.
I rolled a 10.
Okay. Yeah, so you lift yourself gently into the air, I imagine, or at least attempt to, the same way you tried to the first time. But the first time you took a moment, you allowed yourself to float, you allowed yourself to hover, and you were in a wide open field where it did not matter that winds were surrounding in one spot. And it's a bit of that moment, if you've ever seen those little like dust clouds strike up very quickly, where even though it's not a lot of wind, in a concentrated area, it's enough to have an impact. And you call upon wind in this desperate thing to fly, and you're in a small tunnel of a grid system with straightaways. And as you take off, the surge of energy coming from the ground to lift you blows this man several blocks back, and he falls off. It is a noticeable rush of sound, as though someone has fired off a wind cannon in a straight line, and anyone in this district can hear it and is going to start making their way out. You're able to fly out, but everyone will know something happened here. The man has been he has been thrown over the side, and people here know that something larger than life happened in the streets right outside their home.
She's gonna try to get him.
Okay. Yeah, you probably tempt fate, I imagine.
Yeah. I think.
Or if you want to try wield a power again, you can use the wind power still.
I think I'll try to wield a power.
Okay. You still have not done this perfectly.
Yeah.
Is she desperate?
She really wants to save him.
Okay.
But then, that would mean 5th strain.
It would mean 5th strain.
And so I don't know how that would work for this.
Well, also, if we look at this, it would be your 5th strain, but it would also be happening, if it succeeds, at the same time as your mortal coil.
Yeah.
As you are protecting someone dangerous. So, if it succeeds, your strain would clear.
This is crazy.
If it fails, you will mark your 5th strain.
This is crazy. Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Because I think she is desperate. She never wants to harm someone. And would, despite her being hurt by this person, she would not want to inflict it herself, especially this certain death. And the way she's trying to wield this power is control it enough to make herself fall to get his trajectory and grab him, and then get him back just to the nearest floor and drop him on the ground.
Okay.
Is what she's trying to do, but she's not thinking super clearly. Okay. So that's 5 plus the 2, so that's 7.
That brings it to a 7, yeah. So you are able to do it as you feel that panic of desperation setting in, and you feel yourself starting to lose. How do you lock in, and how does your mortal coil trigger?
It is both her greatest, it's the greatest part of her, it's her humanity, but it's also her greatest flaw. And it is a weakness that's coming with her into whatever this fight is going to be later on. And it's that she does not want to harm, and she doesn't want to see anyone in harm's way either. And it's when she's flying and trying to use her flying to reach him that she realizes that's not gonna work, and lets herself fall again off the tower. Again, free falling through the air to get to him. And it's when she grabs onto him that she locks back in. And the goal, she has him. The goal, get him to... No, I'm not going to put him on the ground. I'm going to put him on the lowest floor of the tower, or the nearest one to us, and set him there. And without even looking at him, continue on. No, because if I put him on the ground, my fear is, if somehow the tower does evacuate, what if they evacuate on the other side? And this poor guy's like... So we're not going to do that.
So, placing someone who knows you, knows now what you can do, and knows that you have done him an immeasurable kindness. Something that you're not communicating about, but the people of the tower are a very debt-heavy people. So knowing that you have saved this man's life, even if you were the one to have also potentially ended it, you drop him down and feel your humanity surge back through you, and all your strain is cleared. You're back to 0 strain as you make your way, as you make your ascent to the top floors of the tower, where you are restricted and you are not allowed. And not only are you not allowed, no one is allowed except for the highest ranking members of the church.
Excellent. She's just gonna go for it at this point. I'm still reeling over that 5th strain move, oh my god.
Yeah. So as you make your way up, landing on the edges, it's a strange feeling, as the environment's not unfamiliar. It's still sandstone, it's still pieces of rock huddled together, but it's decorated very much in the way that you've tried to decorate your hut, or that family had murals, but these ones are maintained. And these ones seem to tell the stories of the original 3 people who helped build the tower. It seems that this is maintained very much in the same way that Crest's symbol was maintained in the beaches that fell apart. The way that Ava's spirit seems to continue on through her glade. The way that Wind's animals were maintained as they ran around the mountaintop trying to guide you and be playful even if you didn't fully understand their intention. But most strikingly, it seems maintained in the way that the records of record are maintained. Out of access to anyone, perfectly preserved, kept out of the eyes of anyone who would need to see it. It's also eerily quiet here, as the only way anyone could naturally make it up here is to be admitted from a floor below. The part of the tower here has slants, so if anyone tried to scale the outside, which of course is a death threat by itself, they would need to climb an upward angle to get in, seemingly impossible for most people. So as you land, you're alone in a preserved museum telling the origin of the tower.
She stays where she's at for a moment, almost waiting for an ambush or something. And then she looks around and takes it all in. And she tries to shove down that very rising anxiety building of, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Where I'm at right now is going to be a problem. And I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing. And then she'll just walk around and take a look at the walls and at this story.
And before we see what's on the walls, can you, the player, narrate for the audience at home what the story the people on the tower have been told is?
The story of the people on the tower is that long ago, humanity was dying, and they beseeched the gods for help, and they didn't get an answer. So, to try to get one, they decided to build a tower to the heavens and create a utopia from it, a place where humanity could make their last stand. And there were the builders. The builders were the ones who, through generations, created this tower. And when it was finally complete, they heard the gods. And no one really knows exactly what happened to them, but the story is that their creation complete, humanity surviving, they walked off the side of the tower, never to be seen again. And for that, we covet the builders, the people who created a place for humanity's last stand, and believe that we are the last of humanity. And that many, if not all, of the gods have died. And if you hear them, it's dangerous. It could take over your mind. It could end your life. And so humanity has to rely on themselves mostly. And that's what we had been told. The most common folklore of this is about the builders and their mysterious ending of their lives, and how no one entirely knows what happened with that.
Story present in your mind as you step into these panels, these murals maintained that show long ago. It's not possible to tell how old these are because of how maintained they are, but you see a nomadic tribe traveling, people who you would assume are the builders, people who you would assume are the first people to come to the tower. The landscape depicted around them is already harsh. It's not quite where it is now, but it's clearly well into the absence of the river, when the cradle has been dying. And you see that symbol depicted again. The name of the tower that has burned into your mind, and it's hard to focus on, but it seems to be obscured in some way, as though it's not quite complete yet. As though the name either has changed throughout time or meant something different when it was written. Or maybe it was just written wrong. There's a potential that these people were lied to, and they wrote down a similar name, but not the correct name. And you see the traveling people approach this symbol, and then you see panels depicting the tower growing, seemingly out of the ground. At the start, there's no giant slab at the base making it inaccessible. It's just a plinth, and then a second plinth, rising higher and higher, but not outpacing or outgrowing the need for humanity. And then there's a skip in time, it seems, as there are suddenly too many people on the tower, as though it's supported them well enough that they were able to maintain themselves, but also grow, find a community here. But some of them are spilling out into the sands. Some of them are having to try and go off again, but we never see the return of the ones going off. And you see that symbol of the god depicted more and more, almost now in reverence instead of in companionship. And you see then the last one, the strangest one, because it's the one that gives you an answer to where the original builders went. 3 people in concord with the name. And then in the next one, a strange looking, almost stick-like thing with vines coming off of it, that if you had studied anatomy, you would know is meant to represent a spinal column. And then you see these men standing in almost star-shaped poses, lining themselves up with it, infusing to it, allowing themselves to be eternally stretched and grown, so that their legacy would continue as long as the tower never fell. And Odette knows that the clerics know. The answer is that the builders never stepped off the tower. The builders have never once left the tower.
She has been as silent as possible, looking at all of this. And that revelation is shocking enough to make her gasp slightly and cover her own mouth to stay quiet. And the horror of what this is, that death probably would have been better than being turned into this. And then the truth written right there through the murals that people were rejected from the tower. And it's right above us this whole time. She's very quickly going to get out her notebook and try to do an approximation. A very crude approximation, not very well done, because it's very quick, of those panels that stood out the most to her.
While you attempt that, can I get you to roll Recognize a God?
No. You don't have
I'm
to do
going
that.
to need you to.
You don't have to. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. You are very near their domain.
Okay.
You are very well familiar now with their gospel and their history. And I think it would be quite bad for Odette if she did not know someone was observing her right now. So you'll have a +3 to this roll.
Okay. I rolled a 6. So that's a 9.
As you are sketching down to the best of your ability, you see the smallest of shifts in the depiction of the name from the start. Still unable to read it, but it seems like at the start it's written just as a simple line that bends in the middle, but as it goes on it has little frills added to it, and it seems that either the name has changed, like we said, or by giving it this addition, it has instilled more divinity into it. And you know from record that the other gods fear whoever this god is, for they are a conquest god. They are someone who would happily kill the rest to keep themselves going. They would happily kill everyone who believes in them to keep them going. And it seems that as the name changes and grows with the people growing around it, that power is taken on as it becomes harder and harder to read. But then you see it in its hardest form, and I'm going to have you take a strain for it, as it seems your eyes not unnaturally, but unchecked by you, your head turns to a door at the end, which has the final image of the name written as clearly as one record showed it to you, and the tower, depicted as it is now, with no base ascended for anyone, raised high above, a divine being in its own right, selected by man to be removed from the earth. And you see what you would imagine is the entrance to the main citadel, for lack of a better word, the home of a god.
She's been fairly unceremoniously sitting on the ground, trying to draw these panels when this feeling comes over her and she turns around. And that knot in her stomach gets tighter. And after a moment too long, like a cowardly moment, to just be afraid, she makes herself stand up. She closes the notebook and puts it in her bag. And she steels herself and walks towards the door.
It feels strange as you approach. Not in terms of... it feels uncomfortable, in that it's a very uncomfortable thing, but it feels as though seeing the name in its glory is trying to welcome you. It seems almost like being called by something you've been hoping to find your entire life. It seems like Odette has found the answer she's hoping for, but also the place she belongs. And I think that's a feeling she's very aware of. And it feels very implanted, in that it makes sense that she would be feeling these things, but the quick change from nerves to sudden acceptance, I think you recognize as a divine trait.
To keep herself grounded, she just kind of digs her nails into her palm.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to pause this real quick.
Odette sort of, to keep herself grounded through these very positive feelings, although for her they're currently unwelcome, she digs her nails into her palms to just keep herself as grounded as possible, as she is gonna say quiet prayer to herself, I guess, and because she doesn't want to say it to this god, and open the door.
Okay. Just a quick question. As you say that silent prayer, do you intend it to be fully for herself, or is it a prayer to anyone but the god in front of her?
I don't think it's fully done with the intent to keep it to herself.
Okay. Then an unknown, unclaimed prayer, other than devoid of the one that can hear you, is sent off into the abyss as you put your hand on a door, feeling as though you're opening the door to your own hut. And we'll see what happens next time.